Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome one and all. Okay, let me see who's here and then we'll get into it. Hopefully I can finish in like an hour. I think I'm going to finish in like an hour. We'll see. Because I know it's already late for some of you all. Very late. So that, move that over there. That is doing what it's supposed to do. And wunderbar. There we go. Echo is gone. Okay. Huh, did I do that? Yeah. Okay. And that goes. That stays. And I'm here. Very good. All right, so I'm going to see who was here first. Lorna Williams, thank you so much for being here first. I'm going to scroll through. Connie Balmer. I'm so sorry I got you up so late. I'm sorry. Elaine Parker, if you're here. Yeah, you're here. I'm so sorry. I'm always thinking of people in the other time zone. Let's see if we can get out of here in an hour then, right? Okay. Hi, Susie Q. Mama Jane. Hello, everybody. All right. Operation 1 hour. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I've been doing too many marathons, I think, even though I rather enjoy it. Is it practical? Does it make sense? Is that really what the people want? We'll see how it goes. Hi, Brenda Phillips, Julia Rock, Kanitha Ash, Marcy Foreman. Hi. Okay. Just waiting for my slides to pop up. There it is. There's nothing like a nice cold glass of orange juice. And no Black Queen, there's no vodka in it, just orange juice. Is Black Queen here? Okay. Be careful what you ask for. This could mean the end of the royal family. I know I'm being a bit dramatic, but you guys, it is not looking good for the royals. Pedo, facts and 2 cents. The prosecutor. Hey, Pedo. You guys, if you are not subscribed to Facts and 2 Cents, I have no use for you. Pedo, I put so much passion into that channel, and it just bothers me that more people are not subscribed. So if you haven't heard of Facts and 2 Cents, or if you are watching television and that is why you don't subscribe to it, please do, because I'm telling you, that is the very heart of the squad, because Pedo puts a lot of work into it. I was just awestruck the other day when Pedo had really like dug into this person did this and that person did that. And I'm telling you, those connections, like even today with what's his name, Hoghead Pierce Morgan, there was a revelation about Pierce Morgan's recreational pass. And I wouldn't have found that out if it wasn't for Pedo. So do go and subscribe, you guys. Do go and subscribe. Thank you so much. Church Nelly has the link on the screen. I'm going to pin it to the top of the chat. There we go. Give them hell, Pedo. That's what I'm always yelling when I'm watching Facts and 2 Cents. Give them hell, Pedo. Give them hell. I'm sure when stuff goes wrong for the royal family, somewhere they're like, Well, what did Petal say? Does Petal know about it? Okay, let's move on. All right, so this actually just came out, and I threw this in at the last minute. But Queen sent Will and Harry to war. Monarch wanted both to fight. I think they're trying to rewrite history. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. William does not like to work. William does not have a strong sense of duty. He has a sense of obligation, but he does not have a sense of duty. There is no way in the world that William was wringing his hands and gnashing his teeth trying to get to the battlefield. If anything, William was trying to hang out and party with his friends. There is no way that that is true. Harry loved and embraced that type of structure. William wants to do what William wants to do when William wants to do it. Throughout their entire lives, uh, up until I would say when Harry joined the military, it was obvious who had the leaning toward that type of work. William became an air ambulance operator, and there was long periods of time where William used that as an excuse to not even fulfill some of his princely obligations. They had agreed to let him and the Doolittle Duchess sit back and do little or nothing while Harry and the rest of the family did all the royal obligations. William did the very least. The papers shamed him about the lack of presence that he and Kate had. And of course, they blamed Kate for it, but really, they're two of a kind. So, this whole thing is just, I'm telling you guys, they are trying to rewrite history. They are determined that when, okay, you know how we sit and watch documentaries about the royal family, and maybe we see let's say, a docudrama or a anything to do with the royal family. They want the default setting to be that William really wanted to get to the battlefield. Now, maybe the Queen wanted to send them both. Maybe that's true. But I'm sure William didn't want to go. They're only bringing this up to actually, I don't believe that, because the Queen didn't even want William and his kids flying in the same helicopter. It's just not true. It's not true. It's not true. Connie Balmer, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Happy Monday to you, and thank you for taking the time to watch this morning. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see. Church Nellie is here. Brenda Phillips, Lydia Washington, Mama Jane. Yes. Okay. What's that? You're so right. They are trying. Yes, they're trying to rewrite the history, Petal. They're trying to rewrite the history. They they are already trying to confuse some of the images of Meghan with that of Kate. Some of Meghan's most, there's what, only 18 months of Meghan over there with that family as a married princess, right? And so all of those images of Meghan are still very modern and very iconic, especially Meghan's work ethic. And so they're trying to erase that and replace it with Kate, so that when you Google anything about Meghan, I think this is my theory, that if you Google something about Meghan at a particular event, somehow the algorithm, because of the colors and the shapes and silhouettes of the image, all of a sudden you're going to start seeing Kate popping up looking dazed and confused, which is her default setting, as she usually has no clue what's going on. But that is what they're trying to do. Let's see. Bellatrix Lestrange, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Monday to you. Thank you very much for being here. Okay, and so if you look at the other one right there, it said war was too great a risk for William, but not Harry. Can you guys see that for the Mirror front page? Now, again, these are tomorrow papers, but that is the talking point. That and why are both of them saying this? Is this another one of those things from Robert Jobson's book, or where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? All of a sudden, why are they uh, both reporting the same thing? I know that the fail is supposed to serialize the book by Robert Jobson. So is everybody in on it? Well, why do I even ask that question? Is everybody in on it? If it is the Royal Rodents, then of course they are. Ozell Dunlap, I love that name, Ozell. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, Karuna Reina, the Emperor's New Clothes era comes to an end. I think so. I think so. If they don't get this right with the coronation, like canceling it, I think it will actually be a indication of what's coming down the pike. Now, right here, you can see William with the how do they say it in body language? He's blocking because he keeps closing his eyes. He's trying to frame the conversation in a way that makes him look good. Where easygoing, relaxed Harry is present and in the moment and letting other people be the star. You see what I mean? Just everything about them. Harry, it is he has enough confidence. He doesn't need to try to pretend to be more important than the other person. He just has to be himself. And if himself is good enough for him, then it's probably good enough for everybody. But yeah, I think there's jealousy here, and as William creeps closer and closer to the throne, I believe that the high achieving Harry poses an issue because how do you justify? Oh, all right. Okay. Okay. With Charles, Charles has a long resume of things that he's done to keep himself busy in the past. Well, I guess, well, let me see, maybe 60 years. Okay, 50 years, 50 years. His Prince's Trust and all that stuff. He has a long resume, even nosing into the government's business, writing letters about the skyline of London and how ridiculous these new modern buildings are. At least he was doing something. At least he had an interest in something. William is pretending to care about the environment. Now, I think they have overplayed that. Oh, Charles was talking about plastic years ago. Okay, credit where credit is due. So he did bring that up years ago, and he deserves credit for that. William never even learned enough Welsh to say hello. What time is it? And he's currently the Prince of Wales. He has no interest and no ambition in anything whatsoever. His is a sense of obligation, not a sense of duty. I stand by that. Or as Mrs. Slocum would say, and on that I am unanimous. Lorna Williams has a super chat. I believe Kate dress emails was added to spare after the QE2 funeral walkabout under Harry's orders. Well, uh, we can only assume that there were some adjustments made after the Queen passed away, and it just makes sense because with everything being so fresh in everybody's memories, it was necessary. Now, I believe that if that did happen, if it did happen, it was probably it was probably because it wasn't Meghan was holding back during the Oprah interview. Harry was trying to put it all out there. And Meghan was kind of like, because Harry was like frustrated after the year of being briefed against, right? And Meghan's approach was more restrained. And so I think Harry always wanted to make sure that that was understood. Even without the book, he was going to take the opportunity whenever he decided to speak out about certain things. I think he was always going to take that opportunity. That's just my belief. But anyway, thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you so much for the comment. Greatly appreciate it. Light side of the moon. Super sticker. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Monday to you. Okay. And with that, let me try to keep this train moving. I was stuck on that first slide for about 35 minutes, I think, yesterday. All right. So right here, at some point you think I would remember that my watermark is in the upper right hand corner. And I always forget. So, okay, this is going to be tough. Let me see if I can pull that down. Now I can't see it. Oh, okay. You know what? I got it. I'll just look at the, let me do this. Okay. Oh man. All right. Got it. I've said it several times before with previous reviews of memoirs or autobiographies that I've read. Nonfiction doesn't tend to really be my thing. However, with Spares slated to become the best-selling nonfiction book this year, I couldn't help but be intrigued. One more time. We've likely all heard of the royal drama between the Sussexes and the Crown in some of the other, in some form or another. Okay, let me lean in. If you live in Britain, at least, unless you have been living under a rock. So when I heard that Prince Harry had penned his side of the story in a memoir, I was curious to see what he had to say. And so that is from a review from Leah Davies. And there you can see her little info right there. She's 29 years old, writer from Pembrokeshire, living in the Vale of Glamorgan. Is that a place? I went to, okay, whatever. Once they get to that Middle Earth English, I'm ready to move on. But those names sound like they're from Middle Earth. I'm ready to move on. Okay, but yes, so anyway, she reviewed the book and she loves it. And that's what people keep saying about Spare is I don't usually care for memoirs or autobiographies, but there's just something about this that was exceptional. And I agree. Oh wow, I haven't seen that name for a while, Ethan's husband. Wow, very cool. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Nafisa Shabazz says, I would have loved to be a fly in that car when I got the call from William to ride with them. Oh, man. I'm sure there was not much said. And of course, if you're speaking of the car ride with the four of them, the Harry got out first and then Meghan and then the rest of the royals. If you're speaking about that group, if you're speaking about that group, I figured the conversation was going really good until they got to Kate. And then after that, they had to introduce subtitles. I'm pretty sure let me stop. That is so rude of me. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about Kate and her linguistic challenges. She can't help it if she's a little ill-suited for a purpose when it comes to being a royal princess. If she's not really the type to really take a platform and run with it. I don't know what she's good at, but I'm not even going there today, so let me move on. Uh, although sometimes I just can't help it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just very that way. If you're messing with my people, I want to mess with you. Mystic Toxin says, I legit think William doesn't lift a finger because he doesn't think the monarchy will last to see him crowned. He just wants all the perks before Reformation. Um, well, you know what? You know what? That is a possibility. That is a possibility. Maybe he doesn't see a future to it. Or I just think the burden of having to do that work, to have that position when you're not passionate about it, when you don't when you I think William is very insecure because he knows that Harry is better at everything, not some things, but everything. And he is the only thing that gives him, let's say, the juice, the only thing that gives him the juice is having Harry to lord over. That was the only thing that ever gave him confidence. But without that, he doesn't feel confident. He has to believe that at some point, I'm going to outdo my brother. I'm going to show him that I'm better than him. I think that's the only person that he actually looks over his shoulder is at Harry because Harry is always in his rearview mirror outdoing him and not on purpose, not deliberately, but just because he can. Even in the Harry and Meghan docuseries, if you recall, William was struggling with his skis and Harry is, trying to qualify for the Olympics. I mean, it's just that's the way it is, and that's the way it's always going to be. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you, as always, for watching Royal Sussex. Right, right. I love the reviews. I love the reviews. It just it just goes to I think the reviews just really serve to celebrate what we all know to be true is that the book just happens to be extraordinary. That's all. It is a very well written book. The story has, I mean, you get a little royal inside. You get to, and for people who have suffered a traumatic loss in their youth, that type of story that Harry is telling does do a lot to reach out for anyone suffering from PTSD. And he was honest about it. He was very honest about his life in spite of being such a high profile public figure. Let's see. I'm going to replace the at the top of the chat. Okay, Lydia has Connie Balmer. What is that? That is for Audible. Is that for the spare, I guess? But anyway, so it's at the top of the chat. So if you guys have trouble clicking on the link, it's at the top of the chat. It should be easier for you. Ozell Dunlap says William knows that he will not be abused as bad as Harry, no matter what he does or not do. He knows that he will be on the throne no matter what happens. Why not just pretend to care about anything? Yeah. But he had been given the branding of lazy, not because people were picking on him, but because it's true. He doesn't have much interest in. I don't know what his passion is. I know it's not the environment, and I know it's not Africa, as he so loves to say. I couldn't tell you what his passion is because if the environment was truly his passion, he would not violate the rules of uh, carbon emissions as much as he does. He doesn't even try. He doesn't even try. The helicopter is there. I'll take it. And aviation fuel is filthy. filthy. I don't know if you guys ever saw this, but this is the first time I've had a chance to see it. Honoring the Uvalde families, the Sussex Squad, supporters of Prince Harry and Meghan, in love and memory of the souls we've lost. Sussex Squad, supporters of Prince Harry and okay, they're both the same, right? Yeah. No, a little different. Yeah. But anyway, I didn't see this. For whatever reason, I missed it, but I saw it today and it had an email, but I thought that was way too private. But I saw the actually it was a written letter that someone had put on the Twitter, but it seemed too private. It says thanks for the donating $1,057 to Sussex Squad gift of benches to Uvalde, Texas. How cool is that? How cool is that? So yeah, for whatever reason, I missed this, but I only just saw it today. I'm like, gosh, where was I? I think this was happening in what, November and December? V Bram, thank you so much for being a member of Royal Sussex, and thank you so much for the super sticker. Greatly appreciate it. And Sean, oh, Sean, have you been communing with the other side again? Huh, that's interesting. Now, I'm not going to spoil it by looking in advance, but let me ready. Let me ready myself for this. Let me see. Okay. All right. Oh, nope, that's not it. That's not it. Let me see. Let me see. Wait, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it, but let me get Her Majesty up there. Okay, okay. Sean has a hidden talent. Sean is able to commune with Her Majesty. Here we go. I, Queen Elizabeth II, ruler of United Kingdom, and wait a minute. Oh man, Sean, you know what? Let me put some chapstick on, or you make me split my lip again. Okay. Okay, here we go. And black wide heel shoes with buckles. Oh man. Wait. With buckles on the front to hold my swollen feet since 1992, a year which I shan't look back upon with undiluted pleasure. Oh, wait, wrong speech. Queen. Woo! Oh, man. Well, Sean, you know when the Queen starts talking about what happened in 1992, you go with it. You know what I'm saying? You go with it because that was a very traumatic time for the royal family, and it's a year that she shan't look back upon with undiluted pleasure. So, but anyway, Sean, thank you for communicating with the other side, and thank you so much for the super chat. With buckles. Oh man. Do you know I got an instant visual when you said that. Okay, let me see. Okay, thank you, Your Majesty. You're welcome. All right. So oh Lord. Oh man. Okay. I done lost track for a second there. Okay, I was talking about the bench. Okay, yeah, we can move on. All right. So, you guys, I know what I just said about what I just said, but I have to do this. I just have to. No wonder they hate Megan so much. Her power and her light was too much to handle for the racist white people of chalk, they say. Now, mind you, that's the opinion of a squatty. But it did remind me about this moment. I'm not even going to bother with Harry and Meghan's, but this is just the injection of petty for today. Um,
Obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, on to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So, yeah, I do.
what? Do what? I believe they call that a word salad. Let's do that one more time, shall we? That is what they call word salad.
Obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, on to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So, yeah, I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you Queen Catherine. She's going to do a fine job, and I'm sure that you all will join me in supporting her when the time comes. We're going to make sure she gets exactly what she got coming. Um, yeah, the British people are in good hands. As a matter of fact, I know they're good hands because, well, she's always showing them to us, so I know they're good hands. Um, okay, I got that out of my system. Um, so right here, Lexi Alexander says, I know the British public is unaware of how much American actors make in residuals, but trust me when I tell you, she did not need to marry him for money. She probably has more spending money than he does. I don't know how old this this tweet is, but I could not hunt it down. So I'm just sharing what I got here. So I cannot verify that these are even real tweets, but what she did do is give her entire successful career up for him. Mostly the UK public ignores that she gave away more than she gained. She finally had success as an actress, and now she can jump off to bigger projects from the show. She gave up her source of income, her calling, her freedom to get hunted by the paparazzi and abused by the Brits. And I don't know what the other side of the conversation is. So, um, you know, but this is what one of the squatties shared. She was completely set for life. I'm not just saying that. I know about residuals. Her union pensions alone is so high she could have retired a year ago, lost all her savings, and still lived comfortably until she dies. Let's see who would do this. unless they're absolutely in love with someone. The rest of the world is not that infatuated with the royal family. She didn't have a poster of Harry on her wall like Kate, on the contrary. So that's the point of view. Again, I don't know how old those tweets are, but I thought they were interesting. So I figured I'd share it with you. Let's see. Ginger Lily says, Baron, I have it on good authority that Kate is still answer that. Oh, is she still answering that question on Princess Diana? Oh, yes, I'm sure they were had a chance to go to commercial and come back. And the thing is, William broke up his friendship with Tom Bradby, who was the one that interviewed the two of them, right? If anything, Tom Bradby should have been the one to break off their friendship, considering that he was the one given the unenviable task of having to interview the two of them, dull and duller. Um, I mean, I have seen wet dish rags hanging around that are more interesting than Will and Kate, but that's just me. But thank you so much, Ginger Lily. Well, I tell you, y'all are in a mood today, aren't you? Let's see. Oh goodness, this K video is just wow. I thought the royal family would have prepared her. My goodness. And mind you, she's not a kid in that video. She's what? She had to be like 30, right? The 10 years that they dated and everything. So she definitely was not a kid in that video. But that's what they wanted, though. They did not want someone with a personality. They did not want anyone who had any kind of presence other than staying in the shadows, a nice blow dry hairdo, and rock those Mary Poppin outfits, and you're good. So anyway, is this what you call a coronation chicken? Oh, do I have that video? A king who runs away, protester chants at Charles on Maundy Thursday service and pledged to disrupt the coronation. So when I say he, I am speaking of Graham Smith that you see with the bullhorn. And then I don't know what Charles and Camilla are saying to each other, but I have it on good authority that he probably said, "Oh my God, Camilla, what is he speaking of?" Well, he was asking, wait, Charles, he was asking about coronation chicken. Oh God, Camilla, I hope that chicken is organic. Oh God, Camilla, they don't, those are peasants. They don't eat free range chicken like the rest of us. Camilla. Oh, wait a minute, Sean. Did Her Majesty have something else to add? Let me see. Let me see. I, Queen Elizabeth II, ruler of United Kingdom and proper education. That you shade, Kate. Do hereby declare I left Charles and Camilla all the money in crypto with no password. Oh, so the Queen left cryptocurrency with no password. Uh-oh, wait, where did it go? There we go. right. Well, thank you so much, Your Majesty, and thank you so much, Sean, for communicating, and thank you for the super chat. Oh man, cryptocurrency. Oh Lord. Okay. Okay. Wait. All right. Let me take that away, and thank you very much, Sean, for communicating. Okay. All right. So, let me get back over here. So yeah. Oh, the Graham Smith. The Graham Smith. Yes. 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 So, they have. I didn't put it up here because I don't know, for some reason I feel like it may be a little backlash, like I'm promoting the movement, but Graham Smith's people at the Republic, they have a forum online where you can pledge to go to the. You could either protest at the coronation or you could protest in your own community. But they have a thing online where they are asking at the hashtag Not My King, you could find like the well, anyway. They want you to sign up for it to protest on Coronation Day. So they are gearing up. They are gearing up, and I have a theory about that too. I have a theory about that. Uh, let's see. The cover on the Sun is nothing about going to war in Afghanistan. They're just trying to say it was the Queen that stirred up the drama. Are they trying to throw Her Majesty under the bus? Are you serious? You mean like when William read that thing about his mother and the Panorama interview? Are they trying to do that to Her Majesty? Oh no, that is tacky. I had only just saw the cover before I started, so I didn't even get a chance to see the article, but I'm just like, it looks like a rewriting of history to me, which still is consistent. They're still trying to rewrite the history. But either way, that is pretty tacky. That is pretty tacky. I wonder how much they're going to accuse the Queen of now that she's not here to defend herself. Let me see. Is this it?
My king! Not my king! Not my king! Not my king! Not my king! Charles, why are you wasting our money on your pointless parade? Charles, why are you wasting money on your pointless parade, Charles? You can hear people bullying you, Charles. Charles, you're going to answer your critics. Why didn't you pay inheritance tax, Charles? Charles, why didn't you pay inheritance tax? Are you going to answer your critics, Charles? How about you and me allowed to debate, Charles? Answer your critics. Come on, Charles. Why are you wasting our money on your parade, Charles? Not my king! 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 Come on, Charles! Is that what they call a coronation chicken? The king who runs away?
Coronation chicken jumps out.
Did you guys hear that at the end? Is that what they call coronation chicken? It just runs away. You know what, guys? Now remember, people have been saying that this may be some kind of controlled opposition or some false flag or something like that. And so far, I mean, it is very well organized, right? But I mean, like obnoxiously well organized. And look at the crowd. You see somebody's grandma and kids and somebody's grandfather. And I'm pretty sure quite a few police officers that have infiltrated the group. You know, that's a thing. I mean, every country, every government does that. There's got to be someone who's not exactly who they pretend to be. Now, I say it's the lady with the flag. Now, she looks like 5-0. I'm just kidding. I don't know. She's probably legitimate. No, I don't know. But you got to admit, this is intense. Now, I actually saw a photo from last year, 2022. The Queen could not attend, so Charles went in her place for this very same service, which is usually the Thursday before Easter. So, wow. All I can say is wow. KDV, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Still a value at just $4.99. And Judy must have said, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Monday to you. Okay. And then right here, so that is the Golden State Coach. I believe that one is the one that is 260 years old. I mean, let's face it, that thing is as old as the United States government. And it is layered with gold leaf, and it weighs several tons. It takes like the biggest horses they got to pull it. No pun intended. But yeah, it is heavy. And so this, they say, is not very comfortable. Everybody says how much they hated riding in it, and that they are working on it right now to ensure that the ride is as comfortable as possible, because apparently the cab of this carriage is suspended on leather straps. And so in all of these years, apparently they haven't figured out a way to make it more comfortable. I think it was George the Fourth or Fifth who had them rubberize the wheels, put big rubber bands around the wheels so that they would absorb the friction a little better. And so, yeah, this golden carriage, they're going to take the Diamond Jubilee carriage, which I believe was made in Australia. That one is going to be the one that they use to get to the Westminster Abbey, and then they'll return in the other direction at the end of the ceremony in this carriage. And right here, looking for a coronation party? Here's why you might struggle. The tally of events registered on official website is low, although huge crowds are expected in London on May the 6th. You know, there are going to be people coming out for this event. There's going to be a lot of people that are not interested, and a lot of people are not going to watch. I, of course, am going to watch, but, you know, it's a matter of conscience. Do you want to support the institution, or do you want to support Charles on this day? Or are you curious about what happens at a coronation? I don't suspect that there's going to be any drama within the coronation itself. Where it gets dramatic is if there is like protests. That is going to be dramatic. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, even if you don't watch it on the social media, they are going to celebrate Archie's birthday. I know in one of the live spaces, they are going to celebrate Archie's birthday on Twitter. And I will probably find myself all over the place in that 24-hour period, including watching the ceremony for obvious reasons. And in particular, if the Sussexes are there, I'm pretty sure the amount of people that watch will be affected by that. But either way, you know, is up to you to decide. But I think that is otherwise going to be pretty uneventful, and you could just see whatever you see on social media. I don't think it's a big deal whether or not you watch it. So, but like I said, the ceremony is going to be uneventful. They are going to have a well-rehearsed ceremony, and unless they have to call the exorcist when they apply the holy oil to Charles and Camilla, I don't suspect that there's going to be anything of note. So I say change the air in your spare tire, or go for a walk, or yeah, or just wait to hear about it on Royal Sussex the next day, or possibly that evening. We'll see. Well, it'll be evening there when I go on, so I'll probably go on that morning. So, you know, that will suffice. But yeah, definitely we're going to talk about it. And here you can see apathy reigns after 16,000 Jubilee parties, only 245 mark coronation. While the tally of events registered on the official website is low, huge crowds are expected in London on May 6th. Most of the municipalities, or the, what do you call it? Oh man, what do they call it? Gosh, I just forgot what they call it. Let's see. The councils, most of the councils are struggling for cash and are not interested in any formal celebration. And is there any wonder or any reason to believe that they would want to celebrate? But a lot of the local councils, they are not interested in spending the money. And I think it was Oxford, or oh gosh, was it Cambridge? They were scheduled for graduations that day, and people from the palace asked them if they would reschedule the graduations for another day, and they said no, we're going to go on with the graduations. So there's a lot of places that you would think, a lot of like councils or schools or any other public place that you would think would be more considerate of the date, and they're just not. So this is going to be very different from the Queen's funeral, where everything was shut down, whether or not people wanted it. Let me see. Lynn E, thank you so much for the super chat. Happy Monday. I will only watch if Harry and Meghan attends. I think that's probably what most people are thinking. I really do. I think that's the only way that they're going to have people curious enough to watch, is if Meghan and Harry is there, which is why I have been saying they desperately need Harry and Meghan. If Harry and Meghan don't go, this is going to be a big fat nothing burger. So thank you so much, Lynn E, and thank you for the super sticker and watching Royal Sussex. Happy Monday to you as well. Okay, so here you can see King Charles and the Queen Consort will travel in a shorter procession route than the late Queen Elizabeth II, and will break with tradition by only using the elaborate 260-year-old gold state coach one way of their return. Let me see. The monarch and Camilla have personally decided to make the 2-kilometer or 1.3 mile outward journey known as the King's Procession from Buckingham Palace in the more modern, comfortable Diamond Jubilee state coach, which has shock absorbers, heating, and air conditioning. They have retrofitted that thing so that it is more comfortable than ever. Even though they're dialing things back, this is still going to be a lesson of opulence and exuberant bad taste. And people are going to get a chance to see it. Now, they're not reading the room as far as I'm concerned. You know what happened last time when they took the crown to the parliament and it had its own car, and people were like, why does the crown get a Rolls Royce or a Bentley or whatever? Then they had another vehicle for more of the crown jewels. It was very, very strange. Oh, was I finished with that procession? Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, aircon to the throne. Yeah, they're talking about the air conditioning in new, well, not new, but the newer carriage. And so, all right, got a soundbite for you guys. Let me set this up for you. And they are pretty much talking about exactly what I was just saying. They are right on pace with it. Let me find that. And okay, is this it? Yes, here we go.
Charles may not draw the crowds that the Queen did.
Yeah, I think all the pomp and circumstance will, but yeah, no, he's not the most popular member of the royal family. If it was William, possibly, or even Harry.
Did you see how the
I wonder whether, Lowry, there is also concerns that perhaps Charles may not draw the crowds that the Queen did.
Yeah, I think all the pomp and circumstance will, but yeah, no, he's not the most popular member of the royal family. If it was William, possibly.
So with that, I think it's a Scottish accent. She said Charles may not draw the crowds. Yeah, exactly. Charles may not. Charles will not draw the crowd. So this is my theory, that there's two reasons why they're going to shorten the route. Reason number one is the lack of what do you call it? The lack of subjects to cheer on the newly crowned king. Nobody's coming. I'm just kidding. There will be people there, obviously, but there's not going to be big crowds. And then number two is
they call the coronation chicken and king runs away?
yes, it's the coronation chicken. There's going to be protesters, and if you have a longer route, there's more opportunity for protests. Now, in 1953, the Queen actually took the shorter route to the Westminster Abbey, and then afterwards went on, like, I think they said it was 3 miles or something like that, after the coronation. So the coronation itself was 3 hours long for the Queen, went on all day. And I think the other thing, well, that is including the procession there, the actual coronation, and then all of the festivities late into the night. And of course, days of celebration. And this is in post-war London where all of this was taking place. But yeah, if they have a shorter route, then it's easier to contain protesters. And the most devoted people are going to get there early to take their position. And of course, that will help to push the protesters back. So anything that's really interesting to see, I promise you, I believe it's going to be on social media and not broadcast on the day of the coronation. So that is where I am going to be. I am going to be on those Twitter streets and Instagram and all over the place looking for the dirt. Let's see. Alicia W., thank you so much for the super chat. A shortened route guarantees less egg thrown. Yes, there's that too. So, oh my goodness, if they pummel that thing with eggs, I would be so shocked. I doubt if that's going to happen, and I'm not hoping that happens, because it would be all kind of disruptions, and two, it may spook the horses, and then someone might get hurt. I mean, have you ever seen a horse that has been spooked? Oh, that's so odd. How did my finger hit that button? Sorry about that. But have you ever seen a horse get spooked? They start bucking and kicking and salivating and frothing at the mouth. Yeah, so you don't want any horses to get spooked, especially if there's a horse in a contained space. That can be injurious to other people around them. So oh man. So but yeah, so that's my theory. Shorter route, less protests, shorter route, less embarrassment from the lack of people in the crowd, or the lack of a crowd. And of course, Wednesday Addams and her brother. Love this photo. This was from that Coronation chicken event. Um, these kids, I think they deserve a BAFTA award for their appearance at the Moundy Day. They deserve a BAFTA award. Stephen Black says, all that money wasted on unseasoned chicken. Stephen Black, haven't seen you on here for a while. Thanks for being here. Karuna Reyna says, Baron, a vast majority of people are more enraged with the Queen Camilla concept. I feel a protest in my bones. You know, the people that are mostly enraged are older people, which are still royalists. That's my guess. I don't think that there's enough young people. The younger people don't want an unelected head of state. But the older people, they're still royalists, most of them, and they just don't want Camilla called queen, but they're not protesting the concept of monarchy itself. And there's always that difference with people's sentiment in that they can really hate one person or one situation, and that doesn't mean that it's the end of the monarchy, although some people believe, oh, this could be the end of the. It never does, but it's not situation orientated. It's the entire monarchy itself with younger people. With older people, is okay. Why is Andrew here? Oh, why do we have to call her queen? That's about as far as they go. They're not as militant as the younger people. So there is the State Bentley, and you can see the crowd of people back there with their signs. I don't know how close they'll get. But if they have anything that looks like that, the police are going to try to stop them, I'm sure. Okay. Corinne Rainer, thank you so much for your comment, by the way. TRC Rug says, Baron, don't send me to the Twilight Zone. They really look like right? I love those kids. I love them. And they are just the looks on their faces. They're looking at the protesters, right? And Camilla was actually elbowing him. I mean, Camilla I don't think she ever really paid as much attention because the last time she ran into Westminster Abbey so fast. But I think this is like the first time everybody's looking at the protesters. You notice everybody's gaze is going in the same direction. That's the protesters. That is the Coronation chicken recipe. Let's see. Oh, yes. King Charles may support staged abdication after 10 years. This is just like reparations for slavery. It is designed to appease younger people that are rather disappointed with the monarchy. It is designed to appease younger people who want an elected head of state. Okay? This is the okie doke right here. They don't care whether or not Charles does a staged abdication. And I'm not sure exactly what that means, but this is my guess. That means that Charles will give up responsibilities in one area of his duty and give it to William, and then another place and another place. Now, maybe this has nothing to do with the opinion of anti-monarchy people, anti-monarchists, is it? I don't think this has anything to do with that directly. I think Charles just realizes that his son is very lazy and not really interested in the work. And Charles tried to interest William in the Prince's Trust, and William was not interested. Is it Prince's Trust? I think so. Yeah, Prince's Trust. And William wasn't interested. He tried to bring him in, but he wasn't interested. Now, whether or not you like Charles, let me tell you this. The Duchy of Cornwall is thriving. At least it was before William got to it. And it would have continued to thrive with Charles. Maybe not so much with William. Charles actually has less with the Duchy of Lancaster than he had with the Duchy of Cornwall because of all of the shrewd investments that they made, as well as taking terrible advantage of people within the Duchy of Cornwall. But it's a huge financial portfolio, which includes property around London and whatever other investments. And I'm pretty sure the Duchy of Lancaster isn't so far behind, but is probably not as well cared for as the Duchy of Cornwall. And for those that may not be aware, I'll just repeat what I've said before. The Duchy of Cornwall is an estate that was established to make sure that the Prince of Wales does not go broke waiting for the throne, and that the Prince of Wales would not have to ask the sovereign for money that they have gambled away or for jewelry that they have purchased for their mistresses. The Duchy of Cornwall is like an ATM for the Crown Prince or the Prince of Wales. And of course, Prince of Wales means Crown Prince. And then, of course, the Duchy of Lancaster is the personal income established for the sovereign. So no matter how bad things get, the sovereign will always have land and property and wealth, just like the Prince of Wales. Those are what those two duchies are for. Nobody else in the family has a duchy that includes land and money. So the Duke of Sussex, the Duke of Wessex, now the Duke of Edinburgh, there's not any money that comes with that other than what they get from the sovereign grant. So I hope that was helpful. Okay. Ingrid Soers, you are, let me see, Tuesday morning, 2 a.m. from the Netherlands. Wow. Thank you so much for being here. Dankjewel. Hope I'm saying that right. Okay. I'm not racist. I once spent the day as a black man to prove I wasn't frightened of my grandson looking like this. So there you go. Charles has been able to he has been able to prove once and for all in a very odd kind of Tom Jones looking way that he is not the R word and that he loves black people. And someone posted this on the Twitter. Now, I think this is one of those AI photos, right? I think this is one of those AI photos. I told you guys they have the AI, the artificial intelligence, has a way that it can take a suggestion and make an image out of it. And so there you have Charles looking very young and very fly, I might add. And I know this has got to be AI because I don't think Charles has ever had a suit that looked like that. But yeah, so as you can see, I covered up the name of the squatty, and now I don't even remember who it was anyway. But yeah, so oh man. Yeah, he's looking fly, right? He's looking fly. But you know, he's not the only royal. Charles is not the only royal who has what in the mail, Rachel Dozell is that? Dolezal. Is it Dolezal? Yes, that's the girl who is, I don't even know what they call that, but she identifies as black, as African American. But yeah. I like that suit though. That suit might make a comeback in a synthetic fabric from the 70s kind of way. And of course, there is the reimagined image of the Queen. That is not AI. Black Lives Matter today, tomorrow, and forever. So As you remember, the Queen is said, well, anyway, remember when the guy said, Queen supports Black Lives Matter movement, says black man who feels beholden to the royal family? Well, it was a bit of a controversy. He said that the Queen asked him about Black Lives Matter. The Queen did not say she supported the movement, she merely asked about it. And so he said he believes that that means that she supports Black Lives Matter. I'm just like, that's a stretch. It's not to say that she wasn't sympathetic, but I'm like, that's a bit of a stretch, bro, man. And you know who that person was? It was Ken Olisa, Sir Ken Olisa, also known as Uncle Ben. Sir Ken, Uncle Ben, one and the same. This is the aide to the royal family. Anytime they have business in London, he always shows up in uniform or tuxedo or whatever. And he got this cushy job because he says what people love to hear, like, yes, the Queen is for Black Lives Matter. And I could not help but notice that very haunting resemblance that he has to Uncle Ben. So I decided to pair their images, and I'm like, yeah, I am seeing Uncle Ben. And also, I am hungry for some wild rice, brown rice, long grain, short grain. um, uh, would somebody come get their uncle? Whose uncle is this? Would somebody come get their uncle? I told y'all about letting him wander out the house like that. Y'all come get your uncle now. Whose uncle is this? There is always some crazy uncle in the family. What family member sat back and watched him walk out the house like that? Now, I've actually seen him before. Remember, I told you guys I went to Troop in the Colors? This guy was just around the corner from me. We were by the Victoria Monument there at Buckingham Palace, and I saw him walk past. He's at every event, and he dresses from head to toe in his Union Jack suit. There's him, and there's this other guy, an old white man with a cane. He also dresses the same way, minus the hat. And then, of course, there's the little short white guy. Do you guys remember him? The one I took a picture with? All three of them, and some old lady, all three of them are at every royal event. So someone on the Twitter said, I wonder if this guy still feels the same. Speaking about Brexit, of course, because this guy is all about, the British government, all about the Tories, all about the royal family. And he's at every event. He doesn't miss. I wonder what they do for a living. I don't know what any of those people do for a living. But whatever it is, y'all come get your uncle here. Oh my God, I just noticed he's got the gloves. I just noticed he's got the gloves. I didn't notice the gloves before. He's even got gloves. Oh, Lord. Oh, well. Also, there are big rallies proposed or I'm sorry, scheduled in Scotland, in Edinburgh. And also there's going to be some big rallies in Wales. So all over the UK, there are going to be protests against Charles. So there's going to be the big celebration in London with protests, and then in other places, there's also going to be protests. And I think in all of Scotland, the last time I checked, there was one official party scheduled for the coronation, just one. But none of the local councils in Scotland are interested. Now, Dr. Shola, I wonder if Dr. Shola ever get tired of having to take people to school. Dr. Shola has educated many of people, and here is yet another opportunity for Dr. Shola to educate the great unwashed masses of MAGA people and Brexiteers, as she had to do today. And of course, it should be no surprise it was Sky News. So I will let you listen to that soundbite. Yeah, if they thought they were going to shut up Dr. Shola with threats, it's not helping.
Not to come, sending Dr. Biden instead.
With all due respect, and what's wrong with that? Yeah, I mean, people make it sound like the last 70 or so years, and even when Queen Elizabeth was being coronated, was the US president there? People, please, let's just focus on what matters here. If Biden cannot attend the King's coronation and the First Lady's coming, what is wrong with that? I don't think a lot of British people actually care. All right, and the hypocrisy of the Republicans never fails to, amuse me, because the Republicans are the ones that are very well known of making mountains out of a molehill and making something out of nothing. At the end of the day, the Biden administration is still on top of all of the current ongoing issues, and it is right that they should be here. I already pointed out Brexit and how much Brexit has caused a lapse, for instance, in the government of Northern Ireland. There's not been a devolved government there since this whole Brexit issue. And I would have thought that is very important. If he can't make it and he has made his personal excuses to the king, which the king has accepted, and he's sending his better half, the love of his life, to represent him, I don't see the problem.
No politics there then, Scotty?
Oh, it's 100% politics right now. And take it to whoever the politically correct moment is and what the contention that's going on. It's still respect for the office, the placeholders, the historical moment that will be happening with. And I think it's an absolute slap in the face to all of the United Kingdom, the British people, for him not to attend himself. But also, I think it's interesting. You mentioned the pot of gold. I think you cannot say that he's got his pulse on the finger of what's going on in the world today, when in the last week we have seen a large amount of countries that used to trade in the US dollar decide to try to convert over to the Chinese yen. So maybe President Biden's coming over to Ireland to find that pot of gold, hopefully to try to get people back thinking that they have some sort of faith in the US dollar, which under President Biden these past few months obviously is not happening.
I mean, Scotty, I've said before that selective amnesia, I think, is a very powerful tool that the Republicans use, because in Trump's time, Trump did not do a great job. Not only did he not have his finger on the pulse, but he created problems along the way. So whether that was trade, economy, foreign relationships with other governments. And so when you start talking about Biden in such a negative way, which I am not surprised that is part of the role, I think that anybody can see through this and say, look, it is a good thing that Joe Biden, as US president, is coming to Northern Ireland. The whataboutism about the King's coronation is irrelevant. If it doesn't come for the King's, coronation, who cares? There are people, millions.
It's just history. Who cares? It's just history.
There are
no
millions
big deal.
of people.
Come on.
How stupid is that? So you have Karen on the far right side, Karen in the center, and Dr. Shola. This is such a non-issue. No royal has ever come to an inauguration. Not one royal has ever come to an inauguration. But I tell you, when a royal did come to the United States, when the Queen's father, was it George VI? When the Queen's father came to Washington, D.C., crown in hand, asking for support from Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the King of England and Cookie came to the White House and asked the United States for help. As a matter of fact, Winston Churchill stayed at the White House so long that people were wondering if he was ever going back. And this was in the middle of the war. But King George VI sat there eating hot dogs with Franklin Roosevelt, and eventually the great mighty king had Franklin Roosevelt, who showed little deference to them, place his hand on the king's thigh and said, "Okay, I think you kids ought to get to bed now." That really did happen. I don't think he called them kids, but he dismissed the king, the queen's father, and sent them to bed. It is said, insider said. So this idea that Biden, I was infuriated by that. You guys know I was highly upset about the way they were trying to portray Biden as too old, feeble, and weak to go to the coronation because of the trip to Northern Ireland. Why should the president go for a little celebration like that that has nothing to do with diplomacy? That is just an opportunity to raise the profile of King Charles. There's no precedence for anyone to show up in Biden's position. And thank you, Black Queen, for that update. I am so glad to hear that. And thank you so much for the super chat. So one of the Tennessee Three, Justin Jones, was unanimously reinstated to the Tennessee House, as well he should. So thank you for that update. Never should have been dismissed in the first place, but you know how that goes. But yeah, and let me see here. Oh, there they are right there. There is the Tennessee Three. So the lady was not dismissed in the first place. And to the left is Justin Jones. And then Justin Pearson is the one at the far right, I believe. So that is 2 out of the 3 of the Mod Squad 2023 that has been reinstated. So cheers for that. Thank you, Black Queen. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex, as well as the moderator, by the way. Yes, it was history. And what happened? They sat there in the palace waiting for the Obamas to come to them. Now, Biden did accept the offer of a state visit, but that was only because he felt sorry for Charles. Dr. Shola as, oh, by the way, if y'all gonna come get your other uncle, make sure you come get this one too, with his Superfly Newport Easter outfit. So get both of your uncles. Get these uncles out of here. They are a eyesore. They upset my sensibility. Get your uncles and get your aunties. Get them all out of here. Anybody with something tacky on, get them out. Get them out. Get them out. Okay. So I have another one of my theories if you guys want to hear it. So I believe the reason why Jill Biden is going to go is because there is a precedence. That precedence, I believe, was set by Ronald Reagan. And of course, from time to time, when there are no real rules to follow, they will use a precedence. And that precedence is not only did Nancy Reagan go to Charles, oh God, I can't say it, to Diana's wedding. She also went to Sarah Ferguson's wedding. So the one with the pink outfit, that is the Diana wedding, and the other one is from the other wedding. So those are 2 royal weddings that an American First Lady has made the trip to. 1981, and what was the other one? 1986 or something like that. But yeah, no, not 86. Had to be sooner than that. But yeah, so there you go. And of course, you can see that she's not drowned by the Secret Service. I remember they made this big fuss about whether or not the Secret Service would be able to have their weapons. And of course, they kept making a big fuss about according to British law, most police officers do not carry guns. Like I think at the time it was 96% do not carry a gun. And also they were making a big fuss about how they would not allow the Secret Service to have their weapons. Now, I don't know if that law has changed or how they worked that out, but I remember that was the big talking point back in 1981. So having a first lady go to a royal wedding is not a first. It has happened before. But Ronald Reagan did not go. As a matter of fact, the other thing that they kept saying was this was the first time the Reagans spent the night apart. In all the years they were married, this was the first occasion they spent the night apart. So I remember that because I watched the wedding that day and I listened to Peter Jennings and Barbara Walters do their little banter for hours. TCC's son says Rose and husband announced their engagement and married 2 days later, June of 2009. Had twin boys 4 months later. Oh, really? October 2009, third child, a girl in 2016. Now the boys are in the Coronation. I got questions. Interesting. Huh. So, okay. I did show a photo of Rose's husband holding the blonde child, right? And that's interesting that Rose and whatever his name is, that they both have dark hair. And yet you have this little girl that has big, bouncy blonde locks. So I have questions too. Yes, we all got questions, huh? Thank you so much, TCC son. But yes, I noticed that the child that the Marquise or whatever his name is, Vice Count, it has blonde hair. So interesting. I wonder who that child is going to resemble in a few years. By the way, thank you so much for your super chat. So this happened on Easter. Nothing happens by chance with the royals. Next stop for Andrew, the coronation. And then, so there he is, flanked by his siblings and Camilla. And then also leaving. Okay, this is I looked that up. I did look that up, Church Nelly. I did look it up, but we have to say allegedly for now. But then again, I'm sure Rose's husband didn't go all the way over to Poland to have a pulled pork sandwich at a place that just happened to be an LGBT restaurant. Hello. Okay, so as they were, let me do a little background first. So if you remember, if you were listening to what Peter Hunt is saying, right? Nothing happens by chance, right? If you recall the outrage, why was he front row and center? Charles and William's dismay at disgraced Andrew's role in Prince Philip's service. Palace Insider tells of senior royals' regret, etc., right? Outrage. And then here, royals' dismay at Andrew's role in Philip's service. And over there it says, whom the palace chooses to protect. And then, of course, Prince Andrew, banished from royal duties, escorts the Queen to memorials. Well, you got all of this going on, things that are supposed to just not happen, but they did happen. And at the time, while the Queen was alive, there was all this outrage, which surprises me. You would think it would be the other way around. To save the Queen the stress, you would think they would just not say anything, but they did. At first, Andrew was supposed, the sick old man, he was supposed to escort his mother to the door of the church. And then as soon as they got to the aisle, one of the clergy was supposed to take the Queen's arm, right? That didn't happen. He continued, we don't know whose decision it was, he continued to walk his mother to her seat. Well, not exactly, and I'm going to tell you why. Take a look here. You see, well, it's kind of hard to see it here, but look at that bottom right photo. Andrew is there with his mother. At this point, he releases her hand and she walks past, Timothy, Lawrence, Anne, Camilla, Charles to take her seat. If you're supposed to hold your mother's arm, why would you let her go at that point? That was the whole point of you supporting her in the first place. But she walked that little bit by herself. She did not fall. But that lets you know that that was not planned. That was a last minute stunt. I'm sure the clergy person would have took her completely to the chair and not, step away. But he quickly took that empty seat that you see there on the corner of the aisle. So that was a little trick that he pulled last minute. But right there, more royal dismay, blah, blah, blah. And then here, the Queen overruled William and Charles by saying it was her wish and final decision for Andrew to walk her into Westminster Abbey. So then after days of people complaining, then they said it was the Queen who wanted that, right? But as you can see, all these papers showing that he is disgraced, he's going away, he's never coming back. This is the end for Andrew. And of course, you have that sign right there that says they're more angry at Meghan Markle for being mixed race than Andrew for being a disgrace. And then the Queen died. The Queen died. And there's Andrew. I still can't get over this picture. And you can see Sir Timothy Lawrence. See how his eyes are like, oh my God, don't overdo it. I love this photo. Princess Anne married the right person because both of them they seem like they are just very basically no nonsense, rather slightly hostile people. And Timothy Lawrence is just like, give it a rest, Andrew. And of course, you can see Ford Fiesta making sure they got her good side. And in the background, there's Zara tongue ring Tyndall probably playing with her tongue ring. I don't know. There's a lot going on there. But that pose that Andrew has, isn't that a bit condescending doing the praying hands? I mean, who does that? The crowd of people that they went to greet are so glad to see the royal family. But why is he being such a drama mama with the praying hands? I don't know. And then here, more of the praying hands. I mean, come on, fella, get over it now. And of course, now this is when it gets weird. Let's fast forward to today, well, Sunday, and you can see they come out the side entrance of the St. George Chapel, and you got to go up the steps. Andrew is the last one up the steps, and there he is. And of course, I'm not even going to say nothing about the bottom right photo, but there's a little bit going on in that photo that is rather disturbing, but I won't say anything. I'll just leave it and let you review for yourself. I have nothing to say, nothing at all. And then I'll continue. And then, of course, at a certain point, some photographer click caught the perfect image of Andrew emerging from that side entrance of the St. George Chapel. Oh, Connie Bomber, thank you so much, Connie Bomber. Thank you for staying up with us, and sorry about the late start today. Thank you. But I'm almost done anyway. But don't stay up, because you know sometimes I go on and I don't want to do that to you. So anyway, you can see Andrew, the sick old man, coming out the side entrance, and they just so happened to catch him in a situation where he looks like he's where a lot of people say he should be, and that's in the old Crossbar Hotel. Yes, what an interesting coincidence that just as he makes that turn, they click the photo and it looks like he's in the pokey. So there you have it. Pretty cool. And then I will go on here to show you. These are the two people who will oh, wait a minute. These are the two people who will our next, who, I'm sorry, it's a little typo. I got this from the Twitter, who will be our next king and queen. People will have to bow and curtsy to them. They won't have to work. Their kids won't have to work. They will have gold carriages paid for by us. Can anyone tell me what's special about Prince William and Kate Middleton? Okay, that's it. Don't need much time. Nothing. Not a thing. But that is the point that this person on Twitter was making, is what is special about them. As much as they love to show the same photos of Harry, to show him at his worst point trying to survive the loss of his mother, and being in his youth without any real guidance from his father, left to the charge of people that meant well but were not his parents. Then you have these two that are being uplifted as the model royals, when really they're not. They're just two ordinary people that find themselves in an extraordinary situation. And that's it. But for their birthright, neither one of them have any real talent to speak of. And I'm serious. I'm not trying to be shady. They don't have any real talent. They're just they're just Will and Kate. Now, I did show you that AI photo of Charles with an afro. Check out this. If these people were not billionaires, what would they be today? Slumdog billionaires. Indian artist uses AI to generate images of the world's wealthiest and most recognized people, from Bill Gates to Donald Trump, looking destitute. If they were forced to live in the slums, there's nothing very individual about them that would say, this guy is going to be a billionaire. I mean, you have Jeff Bezos, you have Zuckerberg, you have the guy from India, what's his name? Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and the Oracle of Omaha. Oh gosh, I can't remember his name, but you know who that is. But this is what they would look like, but for the fact that they are billionaires. I'm sure they have some talent, and I'm not sure that Donald Trump is a billionaire, but at least Donald Trump wouldn't be morbidly obese. Oh man. And Suella Braverman blasts police force for sending 5 officers to seize collection of gollywog dolls from family pub as home office source warns there shouldn't be involved in this nonsense. So they're trying to say that the police should not have forcibly remove those dolls. Now, there had been a public nuisance complaint about those dolls for the longest. You know, even if you are rather sympathetic, let's say you're a libertarian or just a conservative, and you don't like the idea that they could just walk into a private place and take those away. The thing is, in Germany, you would be arrested. You would be arrested if you did anything that promoted the Nazi party. There are certain laws that are in place that are not just there to protect the rights of a person to display racist paraphernalia or their right to express themselves, but there's also a right to protect the greater public. Suella Braverman, well, we know what side she comes down on in that equation, but and Dr. Scholler said Suella Braverman should be prosecuted for using her position as Home Secretary to normalize racism. Gollywogs are racist characterizations of Black people, and display in a pub is a slap in the face. I've been called a gollywog. It is not only offensive, it's subjectively racist. And then beneath that, it says, why would a white pub landlord keep a display of gollywogs and blackface toys on display despite being repeatedly asked to take them down? And I believe that is a white person that is asking that question. So it is very disrespectful. And the fact that he's determined to keep those there, to me, is a signal of the type of crowd that he wants to attract to that public place. Even if it is privately owned, pub means public house, and it is for the general public, and there are laws that enforce my right to visit that place and any other public place unless they had a very good reason to exclude me. And one of the reasons why I think something like that is important to pursue, the idea of maintaining a non-racist safe space. Take a look at this right here. This happened last year, and I don't know how I missed this, but boy beats on Texas family door with a whip. Father arrested for firing a gun. This happened in Texas last year. This child, because of a fight between kids, this young Caucasian kid goes over to this family of African Americans and bangs on the door like he's the police. Now, you guys can look it up if you want to, but he bangs on the door like he's the police. And they have the video on the Ring camera. They have the video on the Ring camera. And the woman opened up the door and told him, don't ever knock on my door like that, little boy. And if you don't get out of here, I'm going to call the police on you. This little Caucasian child, and this is like William running over to Harry's house. I'm trying to figure out, what was your end game? What was supposed to happen with that whip? And this is what happens when you normalize racism, is people get some very twisted ideas that can get somebody really, really hurt. I don't know how I missed it. William has been on the record for saying that the royal family should destroy all of their 1,200 pieces of ivory. 1,200 pieces of ivory, including part of the royal regalia. That is not going to happen. What they're going to do is they're going to remove it, and as they say, out of sight, out of mind. And so, but William has been saying this, I think, since 2014. Nobody's listening to him. And I guarantee you, when he becomes king, it still won't happen. It still will not happen. One of the reasons why William is able to say stuff like that and nothing happens It's because he is spineless. Just like his father, he has no spine, which is why he's able to bend over backwards. And that's also why he has a taste for the occasional pulled pork sandwich, even if he has to go all the way to Poland to get it. Now, this happened yesterday. Harry and Meghan, what am I saying, Harry and Meghan? They had an Easter egg roll at the White House. Not yesterday, but yeah, yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. I don't know why it seemed like Easter was like days ago. But yeah, they had an Easter egg roll at the White House. No surprise there because they do that all the time, every Easter, right? Well, check this out. Today we remember Jesus sacrificed and what is that? Recommit. I'm sorry, ourselves to love God with all our hearts and to love our neighbors as ourselves, embracing His call to treat one another with compassion. President Joe Biden, I thought that was beautiful. I never seen anything like this from the White House before. That's like the first time I've seen like a prayer offered from the White House. I mean, I know presidents have prayed and stuff, but I've never seen it with like the presidential seal and everything. So go Joe Biden. And then take a look at this. Take a look at this. The curious history of the White House Easter egg roll. Thousands of family enter the lottery each year to take part in this White House tradition. So that story was written back in 2017, but what caught my eye was not exactly the article, but it was this photo. This 1898 photo shows a young Black boy holding hands with a young white girl during the Easter egg roll. The contraption on her head is an Easter bonnet. I was like, y'all know Washington, D.C. technically is in the South, right? Really? Really? This is 1898 Washington, D.C. And it's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just saying, really? Now, take a close-up look. Well, this is a broader photo right here, a larger photo. Notice the women in the background. Notice the women in the background. As a matter of fact, look at the woman on the on the left side that is like pursing her lips. I was like, really? Black Queen, it is south of the Mason-Dixon line, isn't it? I mean, it's what, Virginia, Maryland, and what else? I think it is south of the Mason-Dixon line, I think, technically. Take a look here. It says, the photograph at the top of this story was taken in 1898 by female photojournalist Frances Benjamin Johnston. Is one of the two images shown both Black and white children participating in egg roll during the late 19th century. Black children were allowed to attend the White House annual Easter egg rolling ceremony, writes author Clarence Luzan in The Black History of the White House, permitting Black children to integrate with white children on the White House premises one day a year was acceptable, even though such mingling was illegal in many places throughout the South at the time, including libraries and schools. According to Elizabeth Bowmiller from the New York Times, even that small concession eventually faded. By 1953, Mamie Eisenhower asked why Black children were looking through the gates at the white children rolling eggs inside. She insisted that Black children be included the following year, Bushmiller writes. In the intervening years, Black families also found another Easter egg roll event that they felt welcome at. The National Zoo egg roll, which takes place in the Lion Tiger Hill, writes Megan Gambino for the Smithsonian. Both the National Zoo event and the White House will take place this Easter Monday. Easter Monday. Oh, wow. Oh, did they do it on Mondays? Okay, maybe it's on Mondays they do it. So maybe those photos were from today. This. Maybe this was from today. Yeah, maybe it is from today. That would make sense. Why would they do it on Easter? So there you go. Okay, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I thought technically it was in the South. No, DC is north of the Mason-Dixon line. I used to live just outside of DC. Oh, okay. I thought it was in the South. My bad. Okay, so, but as you guys know, occasionally when I pull on the thread, I am not done with that. So as I looked at this photo, I was wondering more and more about this photo, right? Well, take a look here. Here's the photographer, Frances Benjamin Johnston. She was born in 1864 and died in 1952 in New Orleans, Louisiana. She was very progressive for her time. I will let you look up some of her work yourself. Again, that's Frances Benjamin Johnston. But there she is at the Tuskegee Institute. And you could probably see in the photo, I think that's George Washington Carver in the center. And then at the bottom, there is a young man with one of those old bikes with the big wheel in the front. Actually, even though he has a mustache, that is not a young man. That is a self-portrait by Frances Benjamin Johnston. As a matter of fact, she took the other photo that you see in the upper right. That photo is a scandal for the era. Number one, her ankles are showing, her legs are showing. And number two, she's holding a cigarette. Women weren't supposed to smoke, and they were not supposed to show their ankles. She's not just showing her ankles, she's almost at the knee. Now, mind you, this is around the turn of the last century. That was just something that wasn't done, but she was very, very progressive. She lived in France. I think she's been to Russia. She's been all over the place. But yeah, very interesting person. It's almost like they should make a movie about her or something. And that very small photo in the center, that is Frances in her studio. And then, of course, Juan de Preja, I think I'm saying that name right. This is a painting of a biracial man from Spain. He was born in Andalus. And this 1648 painting, I actually have a very small print of this on my wall, like an 8x10. But I saw it at a thrift store, and it was just something about that painting that said, "Take me home." God, that sounds weird. But it was just something about that painting that called to me. I didn't realize that he was biracial. I figured he was probably Spanish, but I didn't, which a lot of Spanish people are. But I didn't realize that, his mother was actually Black and his father was a Spaniard. And so he actually became quite an amazing artist himself. This is one of his paintings. Gosh, I forgot the name of it, but of course, it features Christ. But that is one of his paintings, not unusual for that era. And then check this out. It's called The Calling of St. Matthew by Juan de Preja, who painted himself as the leftmost figure. And he painted this back in 1661. And there is a self-portrait of him all the way to the left. He inserted himself in the painting, which is not unusual for an artist to do something like that, but I thought that was pretty cool. And of course, that also indicates that he has more confidence in his work, that he was willing to insert himself into the painting like that. But as you can see, he's pretty good. So when you know, you know. And with that, you guys, I am just about done. If you guys have been wondering where the Easter rabbit comes from, this old, what do you call it, Byzantine painting of Christ, notice that as he gestures to the flock, he actually has raised his hand and it casts a shadow on his book. And that is where the rabbit comes from. And if you believe that, I have a bridge that I am going to sell to you. But I thought that was funny, though. I think this image has been altered. It says be something rabbit. I can barely see it. Or does that say, I think it says, yeah, I think it says rabbit. But yeah, that is not real, though. I don't think that's real. I'm sure it's not real. It better not be real. And of course, if you haven't heard the news yet, Joe Biden, who I proudly voted for, says he's running for president again. Yes, and he's just 80 years young. And yes, I am going to support his candidacy along with Vice President Kamala Harris. So, and with that, you guys, I am done. Thank you all so much. Thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And thank you, moderators. Thank you, everyone, for your generous donations to Royal Sussex. This has not been a Mark Goodson or a Bill Totson production, but I think we had fun in spite of it, right? It got kind of weird in a couple of places, and thank you, Sean, for communing with Her Majesty in the great beyond. I have been wondering, how Her Majesty feels about certain things. And you have been able to commune that to us regularly, and I really do appreciate it. Right, Your Majesty? Right. Okay, and thank you to our queens. And let's see, our last word for the day is let me see here. Good night, all. Thank you so much, Brenda Phillips. How prolific. I love it. Thank you very much. Perfect. Let me see. Thank you, Lucy Wynn. I thought I was correct, but since everybody told me I was wrong, I was like, okay. But I always thought Washington, D.C. was in the South. But, thank you. I just thought it was. But let me see here. So I think we're good. Yes, I heard that too. They didn't want to bring negative attention to the cause, so they chose Rosa Parks, who I don't think ever had any kids, did she? Rosa Parks actually, but yeah, I heard that before. Okay, you guys, thank you. I am going to call it a day. It's been 2 hours. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. And I am going to cue Ginger Avenger. And of course, thank you to our queens. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow. Thank you, moderators, the Mod Squad. Good night, Anastasia, Isabella. Did I hear something about you moving? Anyway, good luck and thank you. Okay, bye everyone. Good night. Sorry for the late show today.